Phaze3 is here with us now. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing just lovely. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm loving the crown you're wearing.
Oh, since I'm like a national queen, I just thought that I
Yeah.
like really wear the crown.
Yeah. It's a good image to have, isn't it?
Thank you.
Now, you've got a new album and it's called A Warrior's Call. Is there a particular theme of that album?
Yes, a warrior's call. The theme is for most of the ministry people, and actually non-ministry people too.
Yeah.
I wrote a warrior's call because I think people need to realize in this era that we in right now that we need to suit up as warriors and
Yeah.
hit the battlefield and just fight it out for our spirit, for our soul, for our destiny, for our families, our friends.
Yeah.
Just fight this thing out because we're going through a lot of chaos right now, and we're trying to work our way. We're taking baby steps. We're trying to work our way to get back stable. So Warriors Calls basically mean a calling coming from heaven to actually call you on duty to hit the battlefield and fight this thing out and make the best of your life, and don't just give your life up to the enemy, but actually fight this thing out as a warrior on the battlefield.
Yeah. How long did it take you to write all of the songs on the album?
It the album actually transitioned itself through the different things that I actually was going through. So I would probably say less than a year to write the album because I was actually living the album.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of like when it come with gospel. With gospel, people is like we go through a lot of different changes because God always moving us from different levels, from different phases.
Yeah.
So we actually live these songs, and that's how these songs are birthed out of us, and we're able to give it to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you start writing it and then it kind of changed along the way? Because, I don't know, did you start it before the pandemic and then obviously that would be a massive theme of things we're going through?
Yes, I definitely wrote it way before the pandemic. And what's beautiful about that is that God had already planned it. He already knew that this was coming. And that's the
Yeah.
reason why that I tell people, look toward the kingdom, because God already knew that we was going into this era. So he allowed me to write this album actually almost 2 years before the actual pandemic actually hit. And I actually wrapped up the recording of the album, like I would probably say by August of 2020.
Yeah.
And I said, I got to get it out. I have to get this out. This album is meant for the people. Look what we're going through.
Yeah.
So you're right. You're absolutely correct. It actually transitioned as I was going along.
Yeah. Did you have any lyrics that were particular to the pandemic?
So with the pandemic, the Peril Song, I led off first off of the gospel album because the Peril Song was one of those songs that just kind of put you in the mindset of that we're dealing with an enemy and we need to actually suit up as warriors
Yeah.
and actually fight this thing out. So that's the reason why I led off the gospel album with putting the Peril songs out there first, because people need to know that the enemy will come to attack. The enemy will come to distract. The enemy will come to throw up roadblocks. But we have to suit up as warrior because God has put a warrior spirit inside our bodies. And we just have to tap into it and activate it and get it moving for us.
Absolutely. Have you been able to perform during the pandemic? Have you been doing any kind of online streams or anything? Because some people have been doing that and others don't really like doing it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not care for doing it, but I have done a little bit of it, not much at all, because as an artist, you just when you become an artist, you kind of like want what most artists have, and that's the opportunity to actually perform live in front of people.
Yeah.
You want that. So I had to actually look at the era that we in and saying, okay, we may have to just switch it up and just go into this doing some performing on social media and getting it started right there. And I think for the most of us, other artists now realize that we may have to start doing a little bit on social media until all of this blows over. And then before it blow over, we're gonna have to stretch it out a little bit and actually do a little performance. I mean, I did like a home performance with the family. And it was basically, everybody responded to it really well. They really liked it. So I feel like that's something that we may be transitioning into. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you miss performing? Have you performed before the pandemic? And do you miss the energy of that?
So let me just tell you, I'm actually in outreach ministry. And what I was doing along with my group before I started recording professional music was we was already out and about performing, singing, praise dancing, preaching, teaching. We were doing all that locally in our community, and we would go to some of our outside neighbors, probably about 40, 50 miles away from home. We would go and perform there and do all our sing. So performing to us is natural. I just think that under my ministry, I believe that it was started that way because the fact that we needed to reach more people using the ministry. And so after I spent a couple of years into ministry work, doing outreach ministry, going around to like assisted living homes, going around to shelters, churches, and all these different places. We was in parades and on community socials. We were doing all that. And I was the leader of everything that we did. And that's really, I believe that God got me out now in the forefront with this music, doing it professionally now.
Yeah.
So it was something that I would say that helped me to move along in the music and in the industry, and everything kind of ties in together with it. So yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It was just definitely an approach that I took, and I do miss performing for the nursing homes and assisted living places and the shelters, but I believe that everybody that has followed me, I've seen a lot of it before the pandemic. People was getting out doing outreach ministry as well. They liked it, what I was bringing, and they started following, and they was, just beautiful. So many people now are feeding the homeless and trying to help find shelter for the people. I was doing all of that, and we was going to assist the people, and so many people attached to what we was doing, and now they're doing it. So now I'm in the actual music industry, and I just feel like I'm a full-fledged artist now because I actually have an album. Hello, I have an album out now.
Yeah.
So I just feel like now, since I'm like full-fledged, that it's going to be beautiful because people are actually going to attach to that, and they're going to follow, and they're going to believe in themselves, and they're going to get out there, and they're going to push hard for themselves, and they're going to develop businesses, and businesses going to birth off of the businesses.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful. At the end of the day, the connection is beautiful.
Absolutely. Did you learn to sing and perform in the church originally as well?
Yes. My background is mostly ministry. I grew up in the church thanks to my mom and dad. They took me to church like all the time. Sometimes I was just like, this is like overkill. But when I look back at it now, it all paid off.
Yeah.
It all paid off because they took me to the church faithfully, and the church leaders saw me coming faithfully. They would put me in different things. Like different groups and stuff. I would be in like the Sunshine Band
Yeah.
and the youth department. And what was beautiful about that is after I started working into the ministry as an adult, I was able to give back to the same church that put the time and energy into me. So I came back home to that church and I started working in the youth department and training children doing the same thing that they did to me.
Yeah.
So that was beautiful.
Absolutely. When you write, what do you do to help you get into the mindset of it? Is there anything you do to help you focus, or is it just a natural process for you?
Well, it's a natural process, but I'm gonna tell you what mostly inspired me to want to really write, and that is having a good beat.
Yeah.
It just the beats inspire you to write. If I don't hear a good beat, I'm not inspired to write. Now,
Yeah.
I will write some songs without a beat, but the easiest and quickest way to actually put together a song is to have a great beat. So hats off to all the beat masters out there that's killing it on the ones and twos and coming together and whipping up and they brewing up beats.
Yeah.
Cause we need them. We need them. That helps inspire us to write. And writers write better when you have inspiration.
For sure.
Yeah.
Do you ever have moments where you just don't really feel like writing and have nothing to write about? Or does that beat just keep you going all the time?
Listen, I believe in taking breaks.
Yeah.
I am one of those type of writers. I will write, and when I've been on a road, a project, I was okay, it's break time, because you have to rest and you have to actually absorb more of the things that's going on around you and the things that's happening to you to actually put things into your spirit to cause you to be able to write better. Because I have this thing that I say that every round goes higher and higher. Yeah. So I tell everybody, a warrior's call is level 1 writing for me, because it's my first time actually writing music. I was writing other things other than music, but it was my actual first time writing music.
Yeah.
So, every round goes higher and higher. So between the rounds, you take a break. Yeah. And you rested. And then you move into it. I have those days where I said, okay, you need to sit down and write a song today. Yeah. And I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna write a song. But I'm interested in like a lot of things. So writing music is just not one of the things that I do. I do a lot of things, but it's one of the things that I'm most interested in, because I'm interested in seeing how it develops along the way. Yeah. Because if a warrior's call is level 1 writing for me, I'm excited to see what's the upcoming levels going to take me. Yeah. I'm very excited.
And speaking of that, do you have any upcoming songs that we can look forward to soon?
Well, I'm multi-genre. Let me make sure I put it out there that I am multi-genre. So... Ooh. You're going to get more than gospel. Nice. Yes. I like challenges. I was once told that you always have to pick one genre to actually make it. I was like, I don't think so. I think that we can actually do multiple genres. So I'm multi-genre. So I do have songs that will be coming, and they're not all gospel. Ooh. And if people that do not know me as of right now, if you will go ahead and follow me on my social media and all the digital music store, you would see that I previously released hip hop and R&B songs. So I've already done that, but the bulk of my work now that's official out is gospel, because that's what I was raised up in. I was raised up in ministry. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, where are we able to have a listen to your music if we want to check it out? All right, right now, if you want to hear the Queen, that's Phaze3. Phaze3. Phaze with a 3 on it. Attach that 3 to it. Attach it. If you want to hear my music, if you want to stream something that is absolutely like the most creative music that you probably heard in several years, then you have to go to Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all these different platforms that you guys love to stream music on. Get there, stream Phaze3, tell a family, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a church member about Phaze3 music, because there is more to come.
Yeah.
And also, I want you guys to know that my official spiritual name dropped with the album, which is Queen Shestarted. So you will actually get an opportunity to see some of the things that I'll be doing under my spiritual name. Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Welcome. I sure appreciate you inviting me to your palace.
I mean, I know it's not very impressive, but you're welcome
I
here.
love simple.
Yeah.
I actually love simple. I think that simple stands out a lot. I like simple. You have a simple palace. I like it.
I mean, I don't have a crown like you though, but it'll do.
Well, if you ever need to borrow one, I got you.
Well, thank you. That would be an honor.
Yes.